A little bubbly. Man, what's shaking? This is Matty Crypto. Today, I just want to dive in just briefly about this cryptocurrency called XEN. This is something that the founder, Jack Levin, has been talking about recently. And if you're unfamiliar with Jack, he's been around for a long time. I'll talk about that in just a second. But recently, he's been in the Hex community, talking to a lot of us. And I think on Twitter, he's got like 350,000 followers on Twitter. And he's been talking about this cryptocurrency called XEN. And I've been looking at it for, I don't know, a couple of weeks now. And everywhere I look on in our space of Twitter and Facebook and Telegram and YouTube, everybody in the Hex community is talking about this. I mean, the hype is crazy over XEN. And there have been a lot of cryptocurrencies come and go and ready for the Pulse chain to launch. And some have launched on Ethereum. You'll get the copies over. And we've been talking about that a lot over the last year or so, waiting for Pulse chain. But man, I'm trying to recall more hype in a project since Hex, honestly, than XEN. This is a really big deal. So if you go to, I think it's XEN, let me make sure this is the right website for you. Yeah, XEN.network, XEN.network. It's almost XEN time. You look at this, as I'm doing this live stream right now, we are at 1 day, 17 hours before this goes live and you can interact with this contract. Again, XEN.network. Let me get rid of that. And I want to show you guys a little bit about Jack. I want to look at this white paper. I want to go over this maybe 20, 30 minutes of your time because I want you to be ready pre-launch. What's going to happen when this goes live? How do you interact with the contract? Is it going to be on Ethereum, Polygon? It's complicated on its surface, but if you look at this for what it is, a specific cryptocurrency meant to be peer-to-peer digital cash, similar to what Bitcoin was meant to be, it really is very simplistic in its design. I think Jack did a really good job and purposefully did a good job doing that. So I'm going to stop this screen and I'm going to add another one so we can go over this white paper together. How is everybody in the chat? Good to see you guys on a Thursday evening. If you go over to, again, the XEN.network, bookmark that, and also bookmark faircrypto.org, FAIR crypto.org. And I'm going to add that to the stream here too. Here we go. Fair Crypto Foundation. So if you go to projects in the upper left, you can read about this. Read about the white paper. There's a calculator here that I'll go over in just a second. We can go through. But Jack is a pretty fascinating guy. He's the founder of, obviously, the XEN cryptocurrency, but he's also a real OG Google employee. If you're unfamiliar with him, you haven't heard him in our circles that we do with Hex and the Pulse chain community, this guy, I talk about a true OG. He's literally the 21st hire at Google. So super smart guy. And he's recently, like I said, been on a ton of Hex-related chats and streams. Obviously, he's got the chops to think big and to create something serious. But what impressed me a lot about Jack when I first looked at him is his emphasis on self-custody, privacy, not wanting to have KYC, and to be something big in the community, to have a focused, community-driven crypto. And that meant a lot to me because the participation in XEN is all up to us. The supply of the XEN token is up to us. The more people who participate, the more XEN there's going to be. And that's a little tricky-nicky to get into. Crypto Kindness had him on his YouTube channel. If you're not familiar with Crypto Kindness, reach out to him and subscribe and like all of his stuff because he does really good work for us. I'll leave some links in the description for him and another guy that I'm going to highlight in this video as well. But he had Jack on his show, and he wanted XEN to be the premier, dominant peer-to-peer digital cash in the world. Now, as I alluded before about Bitcoin, I know a lot of projects have wanted to do that same thing, have that same goal. Peer-to-peer digital cash. It's like the golden goose of crypto, what it was all meant to be. And way back when Bitcoin wanted to do that, it had good intentions, but it just didn't work. Bitcoin is just digital gold. It's a store of value with a long-term track record and trust from the market. But XEN has a lot of hype and the trust even before this has launched. And I think that has a lot to do with Jack Levin's reputation. So let's take a little peek at this white paper. and make sure this is showing correctly. Yes, it is. By the way, how you doing, Johnny Rocket and Mobius? Good to see you guys. So this white paper, XEN Crypto, as I mentioned, the founder here, Jack Levin, it aims to become a community building crypto asset that connects like-minded people, seasoned OG or simply crypto curious. It mentioned the lowest barrier to entry. I'll go over that in a second too, because I'll do it now. So the barrier to entry in most cryptos, it's kind of difficult, honestly, because you got to get into crypto and you got a whole certain kind of cryptocurrency, stable coins or Ethereum or Bitcoin. You got to create wallets. You got to go to an exchange. You got to figure that stuff out. So it can be daunting and really overwhelming. So a few of those basic steps you got to have. For instance, a cryptocurrency wallet, like a MetaMask wallet with some Ethereum in it, or some USDC or something at the most basic level. To have simple cryptocurrency like that you can buy things with, that's all you need to interact with this XEN protocol to get XEN tokens, because you're going to mint these. So if you have a little bit of gas fee, that's all it's going to take. So that low barrier to entry that he's talking about, it doesn't get much lower than that, because you literally go to the contract. I'll show you guys in a few minutes where to go, interact with it, connect your MetaMask wallet, and simply pay gas fees, and you get that with no value attached to it, but you actually get these XEN tokens. So I mentioned the Fair Crypto Foundation has designed XEN as a universal cryptocurrency to achieve the original mission of blockchain. And let's see, the problem that XEN solves. Today's crypto world exists on a very bipolar plane, namely the well-known cryptocurrencies are overbought, the pump and dumps. Unknown cryptocurrencies are often left undiscovered for a long time by general investors while suffering from pre-mining and whale accumulation. That's important too, because a lot of cryptocurrencies have whales. They have pre-mining. They have things that people can get involved before this is launched. So it really fills these people's bags before it's even launched, founding teams. So that's something pretty rare with XEN. It's pretty unique, as he says here. I know he's going to go over that, but I just want to touch on it if I don't see it here. The fact that there's no pre-mining, there's nobody in this that's going to get XEN up front. Not even Jack, the founder, is going to get XEN. So the simplicity, I mentioned that before about how simple it is, the barrier of entry, based on the ERC20 token, which is the standardized, I guess, algorithm, you could call it, for lack of a better word, on the Ethereum blockchain. Ethereum is the layer 1 on the Ethereum's blockchain, but all the other tokens on there are considered ERC20 tokens. No pre-mining, no hidden doors, no admin, keys, wallets. As I mentioned, it starts off with 0 set supply. That's pretty unique too, 0. So it all depends on how many of us participate in this. Also, starting with 0 gives it that 0 value, which is important, I guess, for SEC and tax purposes and that kind of thing. It's got an insanely, I mentioned how insane that barrier to entry is. The other cryptocurrencies that I got into that seem to have a low barrier of entry, a lot of those that had the hype kind of similar to what XEN has, even on other chains, Binance Smart Chain and Polygon and stuff, it seemed like they always had a backdoor. It always had people that pre-mine. So I can't overstress how much I like that he's doing a fair launch, that nobody can get in this and get these pre-mine stuff or these big bags, special favors. And it's all 100% provable on chain. So there's not going to be any OA wallets, and we'll be able to prove that down the road when the chain comes out and we can actually document and see if it was true or not. It's open source, and it's going to launch on numerous blockchains. I thought this was kind of cool too. Jack, on a previous podcast, was talking about he didn't want to kind of isolate himself and pigeonhole him into one specific blockchain. Excuse me. So he decided to go with Ethereum, Polygon, Binance Smart Chain, and also, obviously, you'll get a copy on Pulse Chain when that goes live, because the Ethereum blockchain, Pulse Chain, if you're not familiar, is going to do a complete system state of Ethereum. So you'll get a copy of XEN. He mentioned also, it was a funny thing. He said that this is a crypto that you don't lose money on. And that's important, because I think what he meant by that is, since it starts at 0, and since you only pay a gas fee, you're not losing any money for this. It's basically free XEN. You just pay a gas fee. Let's see, what else does it say? No admin keys. It's immutable. Can't be stopped. Can't be changed. Goes down here with zero supply. It does not have a maximum cap on the supply. It's inflationary in the beginning, becoming disinflationary as adoption increases. That's kind of a cool concept too. I love deflationary tokens. I love that how the supply gets less and less over time. Digital asset, mutable. I mentioned that. There's no control in management or team. It's about 15 pages of this white paper, so I don't want to go over all of it. So I mentioned what makes it unique just a little bit. This is page 3. And honestly, this is good to go over. I encourage people to go through white papers and look at the team. And that's one of the most important things to me, honestly, about cryptocurrencies in general is who's the founder? Who's the team? Is there any backdoors? Is the code audited? Those things are really, really important. So Jack has earned a lot of trust and cred just to the Pulse Chain community. I think that's a big deal. Sorry, my throat's acting up tonight. One too many wet shakens for me earlier today. So this is important too. So his formula is to generate rewards for its participants. Zen tokenomics have no locking or staking of any assets. Only your wallet is required. The process to generate Zen is based on several variables. First, the intention to receive Zen must be initialized by connecting your wallet to a smart contract. I mentioned that, yada, yada, yada. Is that no cap? Does it mean a no value? Zen has no cap. However, as more and more people join and participate in the minting, it will get harder to generate more Zen due to naturally sloping adoption curve. Don't let that big word be daunting for you, because all that means is as more people come into this, it's going to be more difficult for that person. Let's say you get into Zen a year from now. It's much more difficult for that person that gets into it a year from now when they mint their Zen by attaching that MetaMask wallet and that unique alphanumeric code, your address. You're going to get less Zen than someone who mints first day. So it's lower and lower mint that you're going to get if you mint further out in time. Each participant makes it harder for new participants to receive rewards. Kind of just what I said. Zen has no initial coin supply. Supply is generated by all people that participate in the proof of participation protocol through minting of your own coins. That's cool too. If, let's say, 10 people mint their coins and they go to this on the day of launch, it's going to be a very small supply of Zen. But if thousands and thousands of people participate in this, there's going to be a lot more supply. So there's no set supply. And that's really unique too. I can't think of, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but is there another token that's similar to this that has no specific supply? I like that idea. Let the free market decide. Is there a way to increase rewards? This is some more game theory, and it's important that you look into this because look at that. Mercy, come running. I mean, that trigonometry calculus, that is some nonsense. Oh, look at that. I mean, that will burn you. My goodness. Are you guys seeing that? Just to make sure when I scroll up that this shows you what I'm looking at. I also wanted to go over while I'm looking at this. On the screen here, it looks like it's actually still for you guys. Hopefully that's going to be different because I'm going to get out of the white paper just for a second because I want to show you over on the Fair Crypto, faircrypto.org. I wanted to show the calculate mint. Okay, here we go. I had a little hiccup and it froze there. So if you go back to faircrypto.org and you click on the mint feature, it's just a lot of really good information that you can see as far as calculating, how much mint that you're going to do. So initially, this is important too. When you mint your Zen, there's 100-day mint term. That's a maximum you can do for 100 days. And let's say this is users at 100. This AMP and the EAA, it's a little bit complicated. There's a couple other videos by Crypto Kindness and Maxim Broadcast, excuse me, that I'll link to this description. This goes over actually Jack speaking about these. He can go in better examples than I can. He can describe it for you. But I wanted to showcase this because when you mint your Zen, the maximum amount of days you can mint initially when you first mint that, the first few people that do that, is 100 days. But let's say you look at this and there is 10 users. Look at the amount of Zen that you can mint. Now look at this. If I go to 100,000, see that goes up. I'm earning more and more mint. I would get more mint. The more people who participate, the more new users who participate in this, the better. You want people to participate in this because when you calculate your mint and you got this 100 days is the longest mint, you can do 10 or 20 days, whatever you want to do. But look, you get a lot less mint. So personally, I'm going to probably do 100 days, the maximum. All right. But this new user, don't let this confuse you. This was a little hiccup for me. This doesn't mean total people that are involved in this. This means this ticker, when you look at it, once you mint, this means how many people have came after you. Okay. This is important. Let's say you get in and you mint and the total numbers are, just under 10,000. That's how many people who have come into this after you have already minted yours. So let's say there's 100 days that I could stake, but let's say 5,000 people are already in this. That's the threshold that Jack Levin put in this code. Once we get to 5,000 participants, he said that the 100-day maximum is going to change to at least 300, and it could go higher than that. So we'll be able to stake our mint, our Zen, and then staking is a whole different thing that you can go into too, because you can stake similar to Hex. If you're familiar with Hex and you staked your Hex, you can stake your mint as well and earn more mint. But I just wanted you to be aware of that. So when you first look at this, when this launch goes in a day or so, you'll notice that the mint term days says 100. But once we go through, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, up to 5,000, that will trigger a longer mint term that you're able to do. You don't have to, but if you want to stick with 100 or even 50 or shoot, you can do one. You can do that, but you can go up to, I think it's 300. Jack was saying it, but it could be higher than that. But it's cool that 5,000 user mark triggers that. Again, when you see this number and it's whatever it is, that just means 7,654 people have minted Zen after you did. So you want to be in this early because it's something called a C rank. It determines how much mint you're going to get. The earlier, the better. Obviously, the more wallets you have, you can mint from that. But you do run into something kind of tricky too. When let's say you want to mint 10 wallets. If you do mint 10 wallets, aren't you running the risk of trying to, manage 10 or 20 wallets? I heard people say that the strategy is going to be, I want to mint 10, 20, 30 wallets. But what if there are that many and you try to keep up with that and you mint them and you got to stake it and you got to unstake it and the gas fees and the penalties or whatever. It's crazy. That kind of management is tough. And Maxim Broadcast on his YouTube, check him out. I'll leave links in the description as well. He had this great strategy, or just a suggestion. Instead of trying to manage all those addresses and trying to keep up with all those minting things and starting them and minting and staking and that kind of thing, and then unstaking, it may be easier and more profitable to you. And look into this too. It's not financial advice. Instead of keeping up with 5 or 10 or 20 wallets, what if you actually did 1 or 2 or 5, but went over to Uniswap or a DEX and bought Zen on the open market? That way you've got Zen and you got bags of Zen, on board right there waiting for you. And you don't have to worry about, are they attached to, 5 or 10 or 20 different wallets? It's really difficult, like I said, to manage that. Also, I predict there's going to be a lot of bots that are going to come into this. So we're going to have a ton of of bots wanting to get their hands on Zen. And I'm wondering if that's a deterrent or one of the few negatives. Playing devil's advocate here. Is it a negative that a bunch of bots could get into this and try to mint using a ton of wallets and mint a lot of Zen, and then they have no interest in this community or this project? They just want to dump on our heads. So that could be a negative feature, possibly. Let me know what you think, obviously, in the comments. Is it a negative thing about Zen that it's going to be a bunch of bots potentially grabbing as much Zen as they possibly can with no intentions of being a good person or a good entity in this and just dump on us? But being open source and immutable, and anybody can interact with this contract, it's really difficult to stop those things. So if people want to do that, they can. But I don't think they'll have the loyalty that a lot of people want in this. But if they dump early, it just could be cheap Zen for us. Let me get rid of this. On a side note, what do you think of this woolly mammoth? Should I keep this? I'm debating. I was talking to some friends, Crypto Heartbeat, and a lot of us in the Hex community and Pulse Chain have beards. It's a lot of facial hair in Hex. So I had the handlebar mustache when I was talking to Crypto Heartbeat Matt on a different video that I did. Look in my YouTube channel, you'll see that. And I had the Tombstone, Kurt Russell, Val Kilmer stash, and I had a really good handlebar going, and I kind of missed that. So I got the Wolfman going for No Shave November coming up next month, and I want to keep this going. But I'm curious, should I keep the facial hair, the beard, and just keep on going ZZ Top, or should I go handlebar, Fu Manchu, my boy Lit? My life is awesome. How you doing, brother? Speaking of some great hair, he's got a good Fu Manchu. I'd love to get some feedback. Should we keep the hair thing going? I mean, Jim Rat Crypto, Sam, these guys, we have a lot of good facial hair. We got a lot of alpha guys and alpha girls in Hex. I love that. I want to, right before I leave, stop streaming on that and also add the stream too. One more thing. I don't know. I love facial hair. I think it's cool, but the upkeep of it sucks. Right now on Cryptographics channel, Jack Levin is on there as well. I mean, it's crazy, man. The amount of excitement from this is pretty impressive. Hopefully you can see this. I was looking at some of these curves in this white paper. Yeah, I don't want people to, I want to encourage you to go to the white paper, but I don't want it to be overwhelming. And this was a point I wanted to make. I wanted to emphasize in this. When you see stuff like this, people run from crypto because of stuff like this. They see it and it looks complicated, and talking about wallets and exchanges and how to mint and getting there fast and outrunning people and then trying to sell this and taxes. It can get so overwhelming just getting your feet wet in crypto. So I want to say this in a lot of videos that I make because it's really, it rings true for me when I was getting into crypto. You have to surround yourself with really, really good people and trust them, reach out to them. And the Hex community, I've been in crypto since 2011. Crypto has been nutty since then. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of bears and bull markets, and it's scary. So keep a handful of people, 5 or 10 people that you trust and you can rely on, you can reach out to. Hex community, Pulse Chain people is the best, smartest, the brightest, most giving, charitable people in all of crypto. And honestly, it's not even close. And I say that as someone who has been around since 2011, more than 10 years. So when things seem overwhelming, you want to learn, but you want to get into things early, and you want to, even if it's $100 or so, spread yourself around, diversify. Get in Telegram. Reach out to me. I will tune you into a handful of people that you can trust and you can reach out to. Telegram, YouTube, Twitter, that you can trust and rely on for things like this, to get information early. We're not here to hurt you. We're not here to take money from you. We're not here to scam you. This community really cares about you. We're pumping your bags as we're pumping ours. And what I've known is throughout my crypto journey, there's been so many people who have tried to scam me and were just in it for themselves. And the Hex is different than that. The Hex community is different than that. And that's why I'm highlighting Zen Token, because I truly believe that Jack Levin is one of us. He's one of the good guys who really creates something valuable that'll stand the test of time, that is good. It's a good in this world, just like Richard Hart products. Honestly, I am 90%, maybe 95% at this point, Richard Hart products only. Jack Levin is not a Richard Hart product, but it's on multiple chains. It's spreading itself around. You're going to get a copy on Pulse Chain. He's interacted with the Hex and Pulse Chain community, and we've embraced him. He's a great guy. Again, he's super smart. He's got a track record. This is immutable. It's code that you can look at, and that's why I wanted to highlight it. Look at it. Go into this. I will highlight this as far as links that you can look at. Again, it's important. Reach out to me if you want to know a handful of people that you can trust and you can call and you can text and you can talk to, and you could honestly get on like a StreamYard or something that you can talk to face like a FaceTime. It's really important. Don't be discouraged with cryptocurrency. Get into this now in a bear market. It's the best time that you can get into crypto is in a bear, because your money goes a long way. And then when it does start to get bulled up, and you can ride this bull market when it's coming, and it's coming quick, because we've been in this more than a year now. We are so due for a bull market. Surround yourself with good people. Look at good stuff. Trust people. Get a small sphere, a small world. Keep it really small, and trust those people. And all of us will talk among each other and tell you and emphasize who to speak to, who's good, who's bad, who to stay away from. I get this a lot. People who are new to crypto, don't be fooled by people that you don't know. Trust people who have proven themselves to you and stay loyal. I care about you guys. Look into XEN Crypto. I'll leave some links in the description. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch y'all on that B side.